right. Shall you continue the show now?
Yeah, sure. I was just wondering. I was a little curious to myself. I was thinking, I wonder if there's any rich ghosts out
Sure.
there. So I was trying to figure out where the wealthy ghosts are, and if they're still got it.
In the wealthy
And just
afterlife.
yeah.
They're
And
in
I did.
rich
This
man's
is
heaven.
well, and you would think they'd be tied to the mortal plane because they're greedy and you know want to maintain their material things,
Wealth, yes.
even in death. I'm not including any kings or princes, no pharaohs. If your wealth is tied to the state, I don't think you can count it as your wealth.
No,
Even
it's the
though
people's wealth.
definitely pharaohs all died extraordinarily rich. And the one that I have settled on talking about today is the Ghost of Belgian Jenny, the richest madam in the Arizona territory.
Wait, awesome. What? Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
she
Belgium?
meets Belgian
Belgian
Jenny.
Jenny.
Belgian Jenny.
Originally from Belgium. And I think we have to talk about the town of Jerome, Arizona, before we get to Belgian Jenny. That's where she made her money as a madam. The town of Jerome was once known as the Gomorrah of the West.
Hey, I thought that was Reno.
This is from the Daily Picayune headline, the Gomorrah of the West, an Arizona town which holds first place for wickedness, a Salvation Army prophecy that it must be destroyed. Scourged by fire 13 times, Jerome is still active. Night scenes in a southwest mining town.
Wait, the Salvation Army back then was a lot more extreme.
Yes, that's
Oh, yeah.
this
They took salvation quite seriously.
very seriously. This is a little thing from thedesertway.com. Once known as the wickedest town in the West, Jerome was the real thing. A copper mining camp of the first degree, grown from a settlement of tents to a roaring mining community in a matter of a few years. All the attendant vices followed. The town was officially founded in 1876, and its reputation was already in the making. Standing on a street corner in Phoenix, 1899, Auntie Thomas described the news reporter as a shining light. Oh, this is the guy who wrote that thing for the Daily Picayune from the Salvation Army. Auntie Thomas, crazy old racist lady, a shining light, albeit of African descent, of the Salvation Army Arizona Regiment, decried to the fate of Jerome to passerby. God ain't done with Jerome yet. He's going to regenerate yander in that town, or he ain't going to give no town at all. God ain't going to give up the fight with Jerome. He'll burn it up a dozen times, as fast as they can build it up. He's started in to make Jerome a Christian town, and it'll be Christian or nothing.
Wow.
Auntie Thomas was, of course, referring to the fires that would often sweep through Jerome, the result of buildings placed too close together without adequate fire breaks. Divine chastisement, as Auntie called it. Clearly, it seemed Jerome was on God's naughty list.
Yike. Is that something you want to hear?
Yeah. At its peak, Jerome had more body houses, aka bordellos, than it did churches and schools, and claimed fame to be aptly named Prostitution Row, later redubbed Husband's Alley.
What do they do there?
Arts and crafts, mainly.
Reading.
Yeah. It was home to 8 full-time houses of ill repute. When the local population wasn't visiting the brothels, they had more than 20 saloons where they could spend their money. Jerome was a party city before party cities were cool. Thanks,
nice. Before you could sleep with a prostitute in New Orleans, you had Jerome.
Jerome.
Saloons and brothels lined the streets and alleys of Jerome from the late 1800s well into the 1900s. In keeping with its Wild West reputation, people in town would occasionally perish in mining accidents, gunfights, overdose on opium, succumb to social diseases, and in ways that would fill several books on tragedies. Fire, also, again. There's another headline, many lives lost. Jerome, Arizona destroyed. This is from the Prescott thing. The town of Jerome, Arizona was swept out of existence by fire yesterday. Loss over $1 million. Reports of heavy loss of life are coming in. 40 are known to be missing. 10 dead have been taken from the ruins today. Hundreds of families are homeless and great destitution prevails. The fire was started by a drunken carousal in a saloon.
God damn.
They burnt it down once before.
Way
We'll
to
build
blow
it
it.
12 more times.
Burnt it down 13 times.
Dumb assholes.
So that brings us to Belgian Jenny, who was one of the madams in this pretty horrible town. This is from heathermonroe.medium.com, the murder of Jenny Butters. Jenny Butters' early life is a mystery. Before she became the richest woman in Arizona, she gave birth to a son in Brussels. Jenny and her 14-year-old boy, Jean-Philippe, immigrated to America in July of 1896. She put her son in a Chicago boarding school and ventured out west to the boomtown of Jerome.
Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't?
Yes,
She heard about Prostitutes Row, or what? Husband's Alley.
Husband's Alley.
Yeah.
Says Jerome is nestled precariously in the Mingus Mountains of Yavapai County.
Mingus.
I laughed at Mingus Mountains as well. Copper mining boomed in Jerome around 1876, and prostitutes moved in before the miners erected tents. I think they were erecting tents after as well. Miners called these ladies blanket whores, since they often conducted business outdoors on blankets.
What were they supposed to do?
Yeah,
Wait for the buildings to be built?
Yeah, the buildings were just going to get burned down anyway. You might as well have a backup plan. Jenny arrived in Jerome before any real structures existed. Belgian Jenny had 3 strikes against her. She was an immigrant, unmarried, and a woman. Yet on October 21st, 1896, she was able to secure a mortgage on 3 parcels of land where she built a wooden building.
Oh, I thought they were going to arrest her for those strikes.
Oh. No, this is before the 3 strikes rule.
Oh, so
baseball had not yet been the national pastime.
Yeah,
shooting your neighbor was in a drunken duel.
On paper, this building served as a boarding house for women. In reality, it was a brothel called Jenny's Place. Jenny's Place wasn't the only house of ill repute in Jerome, but it was the grandest. Jerome had a red light district mixed right in with jewelry shops and dry goods mercantile stores. The other brothels had women just like Jenny, but she had a unique knack for the business. Madame Jenny knew how to hold a man's gaze while he waited for one of the girls in the parlor. She often sat down and drank whiskey or played cards while they carried on conversations and engaged in non-sexual ways. Jenny was undoubtedly the lady in charge, and it seemed she had prior experience working the bordello. She was past the prime age for prostitution, and she knew it. Rather than have her girls rent out rooms like the other saloons and boarding houses.
Yeah, she's going to have to be a blanket prostitute or worse, like a bench lady. What's going on with that? She's going to end up a lady of the pool or a river madam.
She provided them shelter and protection as long as they were willing to work. The life of a boomtown working girl was far from glamorous. Prostitutes had a lot to be fearful of, as they typically acquired an STD within a year. They also feared pregnancy and violence. I think that they have those 2 things maybe backwards. The big one should be the violence. Jenny provided medical care to her ladies and black market condoms to her patrons, though they often declined to use them. She also took half black market condoms.
Yeah.
Can we just?
Sheep
as much as I hate to tarry here. Yeah, some kind of sandy sheep it's the skin of a trout, the whole thing. Well, of course he looks shocked.
It's a sock what been darned twice over.
Jam your fella in there.
It didn't take long before Jenny was raking in big money. Every patron paid around a day's mining wage to spend time with her girls, and the population of miners kept growing. It also didn't take long for Jenny's fortune to go up in flames. Of course, 3 fires roared through Jerome between 97 and 1900, and each time she rebuilt. By the 3rd fire, Jerome incorporated as a city and ordained that all buildings needed to be fireproof.
The goddamn city with its bylaws.
I know, this is this kind of anti-freedom bullshit.
We could have burned it down for a 14th time if it wasn't for their codes.
They're Fucking codes.
Jenny built a new establishment of brick. After Jerome achieved incorporation in sound structures, Lunan families moved in, and cat houses received plenty of side-eye from these new respectable citizens. And this is, I think, when they had to move to Husband Alley instead of just on the main street.
They had to be zoned for a building.
Well, they didn't have to. People were like mad that there was prostitution every single place that they could look. And I think Prostitution Row was the entire main drag.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Jenny decided it was time to move on. She heard a gold vein in northern Arizona created a new and more prosperous boomtown. So in 1903, Jenny relocated to Acme Camp in Gold Road, Arizona. She arrived in Gold Road in August 1903 between Kingman and Oatman, Arizona. The Acme mining camp was divided with the body houses and saloons situated below the road in a section known as the Badlands, and residents located above. She established a saloon with 2 large tents in the back to serve as rooms for her working girls. This time she was not alone. A man named Clement C. Lay joined her from Jerome. He claimed to be her husband. More likely, he was an opportunist who wished to part Jenny with her money. Gold Road in Mojave County was a wild place to live in the early 1900s. Constant reports of murder, suicide, and mining accidents lined the newspaper. Alcohol and opium addiction was rampant, and both were readily available. So when Clement, a hophead, began threatening Jenny, she had reason to be afraid.
Ooh.
She made no secret of her fears and told anyone who would listen. Now we get to what brings her around to ghosthood.
Okay.
Clement started drinking early on the morning of September 3rd, 1905. He was running off in the mouth about how he needed money to settle a debt and intended to take it from Jenny, even if it killed him. The more he drank, the meaner and louder he got, and when he got drunk enough, he headed to Jenny's house, pistol in hand. At Jenny's, Clement kicked her door open and demanded cash. She refused, and the two argued loudly enough to call attention to themselves. She ran outside for fear of her life, wearing only a nightgown. She made it about 40 feet before Clement shot her in the hip and she fell to the ground. "For God's sake, don't shoot," were her last words. Clement shot Jenny twice more. She clenched her eyes and fists as if to pray, made the sign of the cross as Clement went to reload. Not a single soul attempted to help her. "You aren't dead yet?" he asked as she lay wounded on the desert pavement.
Wow.
He then unloaded a shot into her head. Satisfied that he was dead, he fired another shot into his chest.
Into his
I
own
thought
chest?
He was into his own chest.
What?
Yeah, he came there to get money.
Guys, I
What happened in the interim.
I think guns and mental health have been a problem in America for a very long time.
Now hush up.
You.
That's not America talk. Ain't no crazy people here, and there never was. You go back where you came from, or we'll shoot.
He laid down next to her, crossed his arms, placed his hat over his face, and waited to die. Death didn't come for Clement that day. Constable Fred Brown hauled the murderer off to jail in Kingman to await trial. He stood trial before jury and Judge Richard E. Sloan. Clement's sister hired attorney Leroy Anderson to defend him. Jury found him guilty within a few short hours. Sloan sentenced him to die by hanging. They tried to appeal it. They didn't. I mean, he just shot a woman numerous times in front of a bunch of people. Then he was, during his jail time, Clement bragged that he would welcome the day he was hanged and put on a falsely brave face. They signed his death warrant. He was overcome with the realization that he would die that day. He became physically weak as officers led him through the halls to the gallows. His legs gave out. He fell, hitting his head on a jagged edge of a jail cell. Bled profusely and was only partially conscious as guards carried him up to the gallows and put the noose around him and killed the dying man.
Wow.
Jenny's place still stands in Jerome, Arizona, and is now a kaleidoscope store called Nellie Bly.
Hey, that's fun.
And they have one kaleidoscope that no matter who looks through it, all they see is the face of Jenny.
Truly.
The building went through an extensive restoration with funding secured by Nellie Bly owners Mary Willis and Sally Dreyer. Sally provided a voice to Charles Schultz's Lucy Van Pelt character in Peanuts TV specials.
All right.
Jenny had left a will that entitled her son to everything she owned. She paid his tuition faithfully, but he never knew how she made the money until he came to Kingman after her death. He used a portion of the 14,000 he inherited to purchase a grave for his mother in Kingman Pioneer Cemetery. Clement, after he was executed, was buried in a pauper's grave in the same cemetery. The city purchased land for a new cemetery and began moving graves from Pioneer in 1917. Surviving family had to pay for the exhumation and reburial. However, many bodies just sat there in unclaimed soil.
Yeah, I'm not going to claim this murderer's body. What? I don't
Yeah.
care if he's my cousin.
In 1944, the city of Kingman declared Pioneer Cemetery abandoned, despite being full of bodies, and built a school on top. It's still there to this day. It's there. The remaining corpses, including that of Jenny daughters and Clement Lay, were piled in a common grave and buried together beneath the football field at Lee Williams High School. And Jenny now haunts not just one place. No, this is weird. Apparently, there was a little throwaway fact that her bones were dug and put in a Home Depot bucket to get moved to the football field.
Oh, so it's a little desecration. Some guy was all like, I got this bucket I was using for grouting the other day. We could put her bones in there.
I got my desecrating bucket.
Also, can you imagine being the son of Jenny, learning after your mother's death where this was amassed as a prostitute after prostitute comes and says, your mother was a great woman. You're like, wait, what did mom do?
Hi, I'm here from the blanket to the tent.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my mother's things. I hear she worked here. Your name is Tangerine Dave. Okay. I like your big hat.
What do you do for a living?
Sorry.
Oh. I just got out of boarding school.
He still haunts multiple places, including that kaleidoscope store.
Of course.
And she haunts the darkened streets of Gold Road, Oatman, and Kingman, Arizona.
Oh,
So
damn. Like she owns
4 separate haunting areas where she's been seen.
Is that better than the Pharaohs? I know this is coming out as a very capitalist approach here, but when she died, she got more property. She owns 4 streets now. She owns a kaleidoscope store. I assume the school too.
Yeah. She's certainly probably, she catches all those games that they play for that high school.
That's what I want for my afterlife, to where like I am haunting this street, that street, the kaleidoscope store. I
just hope that they, do the right thing and rename the football field the Belgian Jenny Memorial Blanket Field.
Yeah, there it is. That's the solution.
Let's make that hashtag. I'll promote that with the show.
I think you're right though. In terms of like spiritual real estate, even in the afterlife, she's doing better than most.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, she's crushing it. I can't think of pharaohs with this much.
Truly,
like active land. Like sure, they owned it back in the day, but like not anymore.
And one presumes she's can't be killed by fire. I'm going to assume everyone in Jerome that died is fireproof.
Oh yeah,
that does seem to be yeah.
After your 12th fire, you're invincible.
That's the story of Belgian Jenny, the richest madam in the West.
Wow.
And her
spooky.
Ghost in the kaleidoscope store.
Now current richest ghost in the, what is the ghost version of the West? The Gwest.
Yep.
It is now. We coined it here first.
Hell yeah. Is that an NFT? Are we going to be wealthy?
I think that's an NFT.
Hell yeah. All right, Raj, what do you got for us?
Oh, I don't have anything. I do the news. I do have I do
Wait,
have comments.
have you stopped doing a segment without telling us?
I definitely told you.
You probably you told us that you didn't have one that day. I didn't know it was just not a thing now.
This has been for like 2 months almost.
All right, well, I disapprove. I'm disapproving.
I do have some more comments from our YouTube.
Okay.
From
Love to hear YouTube comments.
We got one video that is blowing up over 500,000 views. Ghost caught in Ohio.
Okay. Show me the video. I want to see this Ohio. What do you call someone from Ohio? Ohioese?
Oh,
Ohanoan.
I'm scared. I've never thought about this.
Ohioan.
Yeah, I think it would just be Ohio.
Ohioan.
Ohio. So anyway, there was a ghost
Greg.
caught running. If you're part of the Dark Council and join us on Dark Council Hangout Days, Sundays, you can follow the link. It's to our YouTube page.
Ooh.
And there is a ghost that was caught on camera in Ohio.
See the creature. Whoa. Oh, it looks like a kid. It looks like a child kid, but maybe not. Wow, that's weird.
Which is the most 2 recent comments. We got a regular kid out in the middle of the night in Ohio. Wouldn't shock me one bit either. That's from Thomas LaBelle. And then from M Gmail, looks like a teenager running down the street. I remember similar jaunts in my teen years.
In fact, I was responsible for a spate of sightings across the Northwest. That's right. I am. What was her name from your segment, Nate?
Belgian Jenny.
Belgian Jenny. I think I might be the La Llorona. And I know I just said
And now here's something interesting. With a thread built to it. This is the first time we've ever had a comment build its own thread. Oh. This happened in my city.
Threads within threads.
Yeah, we're now like a real source of paranormal discussion for people.
Holy shit.
This happened in my city. You got to get the police footage, the drone footage, and the police talking about it.
What? There's
they
drone
even got
footage?
a canine. It definitely wasn't human.
What?
And then
I wanna...
Sharash Nath goes, any link for police footage?
And
also curious, we want the footage.
Yeah. Say Werewolf Radar here.
We also want the footage.
Hands in the air. Everybody freeze. Drop the footage.
So that's some recent comments.
Fucking crazy. And I think that's about gonna wrap it up for this week's episode of Werewolf Radar. Thank you so much for listening once again, loyal pingos. Thank you so much to Adric for kicking it in the Zoom room.
Oh, wait, I got another comment.
Oh shit.
Okay, TAV channel, adult only, 18teengirls.site.
No, that's something else. That's for something.
That's something we're gonna have to look into.
Yeah, send that to me. Send that to me and then delete it. Yeah.
Well, that's the most recent comment.
Porndar Radar. Thank you to Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers for our intro and outro song, of course. Come Howl With Me. That will be the first dance at my wedding, if that ever happens. Do you guys want to thank it? I'd like to thank
Jesus.
I'd like to thank Darman.
Darman. I want to thank you all the time, Jordan, number one main host.
I want to thank you, Roger, number one main host.
And then me and Jordan want to thank
one's main hosts.
Yes. Nice. And then me and Jordan want to thank you, Nate, number one host as well.
You are host alpha.
Yes.
In fact, alpha prime.
I don't think I'm ready for that kind of responsibility.
It's too late. You were bred in a tube for this purpose. It's time. Activate the nanites, Roger.
Nah.
Yep. That's the stuff. If you see Ultra Nate walking around downtown, know he's here to help.
Yeah, say hello, give him a cookie,
Blow him kisses.
and tell him where your paranormal troubles are.
Oh, brother.
If you got any paranormal experiences you want to tell us, hit us up on our website, of course.
We'd love to hear them.
Hit us up. There's nothing that we love.
werewolfradar.com.
Like, there's nothing that we love more than a firsthand account. Even if you're like, my thing's stupid. Of course it is. It's all stupid. Have you seen the Flatwoods Monster? It's ridiculous.
If you want to know what we're talking about, listen to our December episodes. They were all ended with segments from viewers who had or not viewers, I guess some viewers on the YouTube, but listeners of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No story
People
too
that see
small.
with their ears.
No ghosts. Please send us your tales. Like, seriously, if you think you saw Santa Claus, I want to hear about it. And also check us out on twitch.tv/werewolf_radar. We normally play video games there on Mondays at 2 p.m. But for the next foreseeable future, we're playing Curse of Strahd, which is a 5e Dungeons and Dragons vampire hunting adventure. And it's been fucking rad. So Mondays, 2 p.m. Go check that out. We have a lot of fun with us three original Werewolf Radar founding members, Sam Talent, and our wicked DM, Colin Cthulhu. It's a great time. So come
from
on
Native
through.
Daughters.
Absolutely. Might know him, Pounding on the Skins, for a sweet metal band who also does our fucking intro song now, which I love. I think that's it. Did I forget anyone?
No, that's it. That's it. You know, our Patreon. If you really dig us, check out that.
There. Hell yeah. And then until next time.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us places.
Follow us. Follow us places. See what we do. We're already following you. Until next time, as always, on 3, 1, 2, 3, punch the sky, spaceman Joe!